So I'm just going to start recording now for the benefit of Daisy. Can everyone say hi, Daisy? So much feeling. So Daisy, I've just made a note here that section 1 contains, I'll go back over this for you and I'll give you more information about, we're doing an exam outline. This question, section 1 contains 2 questions. It's worth 12.5 marks each. Can I, for the rest of you now, tune back in? Emma, put your tablet away. Section 2 contains 1 question. It's actually 3 questions. Sorry, I'm just out of tune. Section 2 contains 3 questions. No? Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to stress this like majorly in a second. You'll get bored of me talking about this. Have you written this? Yeah, but don't get stressed. Ella, I know, it's exciting. But no, you don't get to answer 3 exam questions. So have you made a note? So see here on the screen where it says section 2 contains 1 question. Can you change that to 3 questions? And then at the end of this sentence, I want you to write a new sentence. Answer only 1 question. Can you all look at each other's notes and make sure they've written that down correctly? Answer only 1 question. I won't be giving you the questions, no.
Answer a question if you feel like it.
Yeah. They actually gave me questions, so do you reckon they're the same questions?
Of course not. I wrote them myself. And you know, as valuable as my teaching is, I don't have other schools coming saying, "Can I buy your questions off you?"
Yeah, that'd be hard. Yeah.
I want to show you some examples of what they look like.
All 3 questions on the artist practice.
Just give me a second.
Oh, was it the fairies? I don't know. It's like you've got shoes. Yeah. First game 5. I don't felt like an influence.
Okay, can I get you to get your pens out? You're going to make yet another note on this. So where it says section 2 contains 1 question, which you respond to by writing an essay based on the artist you have studied, and it actually says 3 questions, doesn't it, on yours?
Yeah.
Cool. The next thing you say, it's worth 25 marks. So that section 2 question, where there's 3 and you only choose 1 of them, it's worth 25 marks. Can you check your neighbour? Did they get it right?
Yeah.
Ella, question for you without notice. So we've got section 1 to a 12.5, and we've got section 2 to a 25. Roughly, how would you divide your time between section 1 and section 2? Oh, Sean says pretty evenly, snap.
Yeah, I guess so.
Bang in the middle. Because section 1 and section 2 are worth about the same amount of marks. So you should be, during the exam, roughly watching a clock and going, all right, by here I need to be finished question 1, by here I need to be finished question 2, and by here I need to be finishing my essay. Yeah. Can I get your attention to the board, please? I want to show you what a section 2 exam looks like. This is 2011 HSC. These are not your questions. Says 25 marks, attempt 1 question from, and you've only got 3 to choose from. If you respond to all 3 questions, do you think I'll mark all 3? Which one do you think I'll choose? I'll probably, to be honest, I'll probably choose the shortest response because I have to mark less.
Right, though, the top list and which question.
Oh, how excellent. Do you write down which question you've chosen? Yeah, definitely. Oh, hopefully. I've got the exam open on my computer, but I don't want to flick to it because I'm recording my screen. Yeah, you won't look until I post this back on YouTube. But yeah, if you can put down, I've chosen questions 3 or 4 or whatever it is, it just helps me. I can generally work it out, but it helps me. All right. I have actually had a student answer all 3.
How did they go?
They didn't go so great because I could only mark 1. And they were upset. They were really upset. Don't be that upset person.
I think you should have told
Ethan. All right. In your answer, you will be assessed on how well you present a well-reasoned and informed point of view. Apply your understanding of different aspects of the content as appropriate. So which part of the syllabus it relates to. And I'm pretty sure, I'll have a look in a second, but I think yeah, I'll have a look at that. Use relevant examples. So if you have a look now, here's a question. Here's a question. Here's a question. Explain what paintings are about other than their subject matter. That's all you get. What you bring to this are the artists that you've studied more in depth. So those artists that you did that presentation on, they're ones that you already know pretty well. You've already selected out artworks that you can talk about. You've already selected out, you know a bit about their biography, a bit about the time and place in which they live, a bit about all sorts of fun things, you know. So you need to revise those artists' studies. You've got to, when you get into this exam, you've also got to take a couple of minutes to look at your exam questions and go, well, which one can I answer best? Which one do my artists kind of fit? Don't prepare an exam. They used to, in the actual HSC, they used to give you 9 questions. And because with so many questions, it was easy to kind of prepare an exam, go in and try to fit it to one of the questions. What people were doing was memorizing an exam beforehand, coming in and just kind of going, oh, which question most fits? I'm just going to smush this into this, and they actually weren't doing very well. So in the actual HSC, they've cut it down to 6 questions so that to avoid people pre-preparing an exam response. You can kind of pre-prepare some aspects, like you can think about the artist, a bit of the, you know, really short little bit about their biography. You can have some key quotes that relate to, say, artist practice, general sort of things. You can definitely know at least 3 artworks per artist. because then you can come in, choose a question, and just make up an essay and just be like, you know, wowing me with your knowledge. Yeah, I sense that enthusiasm, that like, give me that opportunity. I love it. So topic assess, section 1, the cultural frame, Frida Kahlo. Have I given you textbooks yet? Sorry? Okay, and I have to give you textbooks as well. For you folks, the rest of you, have I only given you the little textbook, or have I given you the big textbook as well? Just a little one. That's all you really need for the time being. Can you two make sure straight after this lesson I give you the textbooks? This postmodern frame thing, I'm going to give you a one lesson thing on the postmodern frame in Chuck Close. So I'm going to help prep you on this. Section 2, recruitment required pens. I just want to flick through. I'm not going to labour through this. I'll probably go through it at another point in time. I know I've been talking too much and you've been sitting still for too long. Let's go back to that exam outline. This section is some tips on writing for the exam. Talks about section 1, talks about section 2, gives you some strategies to think about. Read through this, we'll probably go through it a bit. Ideas for structuring your essay response. So that's for the section 2, where you're talking about the artists that you've studied, blah, blah, blah. Here's a fun little thing for you, because let me tell you, art is always about fun. Essay starters. Have I talked to you about essay starters? This I've found, my wife and I wrote these. My wife wrote more of them. She's clever. You're in a window where you can actually start memorizing these and remembering them in the exam. Essay starters, which you've all got copies of in your little notes here, are little launching points for an essay response, short answer or long answer. So let's think about, where's the cultural frame one? How come I haven't got the cultural frame in there? Oh my goodness, it's terrible. I'll just talk about the postmodern frame. I'll print it out again and give you the cultural frame, putting it in there. Can you look at the board for me? Can you see that? So imagine this as the start of your essay response. Through the postmodern frame, artists challenge established traditions, conventions, and expectations of the art world. Characteristics of postmodern artworks include appropriation, irony, humour, recontextualisation, and use of technology. So you've only got 2 sentences there to memorise, and it actually covers a whole lot of the syllabus in relation to the postmodern frame, and it gives you a little launching point to think, well, how can I use what's in here to respond to the essay question? Does that sort of make sense? Yep. So you might, that's like a general introduction to the postmodern frame, and you might pick out 1 or 2 sections from that and use that to build your essay on. And you'll be on point for answering the syllabus, answering the question. Okay. 9:45. What time have we got till? It's a wacky day, isn't it? Okay. We're going to pause for a second. Okay. Any questions about the exam? We're recording again. Listen up. We're recording again. Any questions about the exam?
All 3 questions on practice.
All 3 questions on art as practice. Let me just. So the question was, do the questions relate to artist practice? Two of them directly relate to artist practice. One of them is a bit of a grey one between artist practice and the conceptual framework. So they're the things that we've primarily studied this term. So can you make a note on your exam thing here? So where it says section 2 contains contains 3 questions. Can you put in there 2 questions relate to artist practice and 1 question relates to artist practice and conceptual framework? Yeah, it's kind of a bit of a grey one. Like you could take it off in either direction. Does everyone respect penalty for
Yeah.
Thank you, you're wonderful.
It's so like, yeah, it's so small.
Sorry?
Oh, I wouldn't want
Any other questions about that? Any other questions about the exam?
What are the questions?
I put them on the board before, didn't you see them?
No. Because remember, is this the actual exam?
No, this is not the exam. This is your assessment task for this term. Let's race through it. I want to go through, fingers crossed I can go through quickly. So it's due 23rd of May, week 5. Yep, it's a Tuesday. Yep, you've got a printed version in front of you. And haven't I?
This is week 5. I thought that's 6, right? Have we ever got an assignment
Have I ever got an assignment that hasn't had mistakes in it? Where's the mistake? Oh, who puts a footer on this? Turkey. Okay, can I get your attention? You're looking at the front page. Yep, broadly, let's just call this land art, landscapes, installation art, whichever's. Sorry? Week 5. Yeah, down the very bottom it says week 6. Just ignore that, please. Sorry. Okay, could you please look at page 2? Yep. I know, week 6, my mistake, ignore it.
I reckon it should be.
I know, but I reckon it just shouldn't happen at all. You know? But
this is good collaboration, guys. Pass us on.
can't do it. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. So it's an essay about artist practice. Artist practice is like I think for me, it's the most key area of, For me, it's the most key area of the whole syllabus. If you understand an artist practice, the rest of it all kind of flows out from there really easily. Christo and Jean-Claude and Andy Goldsworthy. So Christo and Jean-Claude are a team of artists. Andy Goldsworthy is the other artist. The essay length is 1,500 words. It's Snap. Question: investigate the working methods, techniques, and materials of installation artists Christo and Jean-Claude and Andy Goldsworthy. Compare and contrast the ways in which the artists respond to the environments in which they create their artworks. Refer to at least 3 specific works per artist and include them in your essay with captions. So underneath the pictures, when you put them in the essay, I want captions. If you're using Google Docs and it's a real nightmare, you can always put the pictures and the captions at the very end, like under your bibliography.
How far over and under the word?
10% is the normal, I think. So you can be over or under 10%. Yep. Yep. Does that make sense to people? So you're aiming to write a 1,500 word essay. I want to go through these dot points after it really quickly. Then I want to go back to the question. It's a formal essay. It means that you have to have good essay structure. I want to talk about that a little bit. I think that's a bit of a weakness in this school. It's a formal essay. It means you have to have good structure, an introduction, body of essay, and conclusion. Yeah, we'll do a class handout on this aspect. Have you folks been using anything like Teal for essay structure, like, or Peel, or like, you know, for paragraph structure? What's Petal?
It's a body paragraph.
Point, example.
Point, example.
Technique, analysis, question.
Yeah. The number one thing that you folks fail in continuously, yeah, hush, hey, but I want your attention, is linking back to the question. Because if you don't link back to the question at the end of the paragraph, you're not actually checking your own thinking to say, am I on topic? So linking back to either, you know, the specifics language of the question, or linking back to your argument in the introduction, you need to link back. Otherwise, you can just find yourself writing a really fascinating essay that earns 0 marks. Cool? That's why I love linking back. It's all about linking back. Where were we up to? In the essay, you should construct an argument, not just restate facts. Don't just agree or disagree. You've actually got to kind of come up with an idea, an approach to this. We'll talk a little bit more about this. You should argue a point of view in response to the essay question. Acknowledge your sources of information in your essay. So I actually really love it when you incorporate quotes. I really love it when you incorporate quotes. Acknowledge your quotes. Next thought, next thought, next thought. I really should teach you folks how to do an in-text citation. So when you take somebody else's ideas, yeah, you can do footnotes, but an in-text citation, like not just citing quotes, but citing ideas when you reword it into your own words, but it's really coming from somebody else. I really should teach you that, folks, that. When you incorporate other people's ideas into your essay and you acknowledge them, you're adding authority to your essay. You're showing that you're actually referring to expert ideas. Can you look at this bit that I'm just highlighting on the board? So here's an example of how you can acknowledge somebody else's, you're using somebody else's ideas and you're building on them without actually incorporating a quote. You could say in your text, Clement Greenberg stated that, blah, 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 blah. And then you say, from this, we can see that. So that way you're acknowledging that you're getting an idea from somebody else without having to use it as a quote. Then you're kind of showing your ability to translate someone's ideas. I'm cool with quotes, incorporate quotes. Hey, next point. It's great to incorporate quotes to back up what you have to say. It's essential to include quotes in quotation marks and acknowledge who said it. I'm fine with you doing footnotes with numbers at the bottom of the page, or like here, just showing, the author's name and the date. And of course, you've got a bibliography at the end to describe that. Next point. Think about how you can use the syllabus to construct your points in your essay. So you've got, have I given you that really thick document, which is like a summary of the whole syllabus? Not you. Have I to you folks? I maybe should do that. I normally don't do it till year 12, but I think you folks are ready. You've got that book there. Emma, can you hold that book up? Thanks, Emma. That book, Revised HSC in a Month, is a really, really good brief summary of the whole syllabus. So if you turn to artist practice, if you're trying to go like, oh, what's my point? What am I trying to say here? Refer to those points in there and see if they can help you construct an essay. Next point. We're looking on page 3 now. Interpret means. What does this mean? Find a meaning through an investigation. What am I saying? Find a meaning through investigation and knowledge of the subject matter. You are communicating meaning to the reader by decoding images to provide understanding of new knowledge of about the subject. Interpret meanings. Okay, so in this point, I'm just asking you to you're trying to construct meaning. You're trying to construct an idea. You're referring to images. You're decoding them. You're kind of going, why am I using this image? How does it help illustrate my point? So refer to your images. Next point, Emma. Are you making notes or drawing? You should be well researched and provide references. Are any of you not okay with a really basic idea of bibliography, like how to include references at the end? Come and see me. I'm really happy to provide you with some resources. Does the school kind of dictate to you folks, you should use Harvard or you should use MLA or APA or Harvard? Cool. I don't mind what you use as long as it's well constructed. Incorporate images. See this last point here that I've underlined? 12 point Times New Roman, double spaced. If you double space it, do you know what I mean by double spacing? It's extra line. It's like spacing out the lines. It just means that I've got room to make notes in between the lines. If you don't double space, it's just a horrid nightmare.
So what if I write 11?
In 11,
Yeah.
I will minus you 1%.
Oh. That's not
No, let's make it 10.
oh.
If you're gonna drop it by that much of a percent. Okay, I've got 15 more minutes of your poured brain. I'm really sorry just to talk so much for a double period. Let's look at Christo. Okay, can I get your attention to the board, pretty please? I'm thinking about the question. Investigate the working methods, techniques, and materials of the artist. So we're looking at Christo and Jean-Claude first. Have a look at this one where they wrapped, I think it's a place called Little Bay, which is like in the southern suburbs of Sydney on the coast. They've wrapped an entire coastline. They've worked with a massive team of people. With Christo and Jean-Claude, the pre-production of their work the documentation of all of that pre-production is as important as the finished product. So I'm looking at the question again, investigate the working methods, techniques, materials. Think about how much planning they need to do. Think about how much they need to get permission from councils, governments. Look at the scale of these works. They're working in really public places. So investigate the working methods, techniques, and materials of the installation artists. So that's Christo and Jean-Claude. Now we're looking at Andy Goldsworthy. So it's a chap who goes wandering out into nature, finds things, creates sculptures, photographs them. Is that not CGI? No, it is not CGI. That's right, Sam. That's an arrangement of leaves. It's just leaves, hey.
It actually looks like he's got strips of LED lights.
I know. It's messing with our minds.
That one is like snaps the ice.
Yeah, and licks them and like joins them together. Well, how do you join ice together? You've got to melt it a little bit, then hold it together. Get up way before sunrise, be out there working. Imagine the patience that it would take to create that artwork. I really want to find time to watch the doco on his stuff because his working practice is just mind-boggling. Have we? I'm getting yeses and nos. Have we watched it?
Yeah, and it's like you might water down the bush and make a circle.
Yeah. Okay, do me a favour. Page 2. Thinking about those artists. So now here's what you've actually got to do. So in the first part, I'm asking you to investigate the working methods, techniques, and materials. So you're going to have to describe those things. You're going to have to investigate what's investigating, finding out about, and reporting, I guess. Investigate the working methods, how they go about it, the techniques, the materials that they use. You have to describe those things, choosing 3 artworks. That's pretty straightforward, isn't it? The next part, compare and contrast the ways in which the artists respond to the environments in which they create their artworks. Compare and contrast. So you can construct your essay in a couple of different ways. You could do that first part of the question, the investigate the working methods, materials, techniques, and materials. Describe that for Christo and Jean-Claude. Then you could describe the working methods, techniques, and materials of Andy Goldsworthy. And then in the next part of the essay, do a compare and contrast. That's probably the most straightforward way of doing it. You could also just do here's a work of Christo's, here's a work of Goldsworthy's, talk about them and then do a compare and contrast for each, then move on to a next, because remember you've got to do 3 artworks for each artist. I think that this is actually a pretty easy essay. It's just asking you to compare and contrast. Remember, you've got to try to come up with an argument. You've got to come up with a reason for writing all this stuff, aside from you kind of got to. Any questions about that? Because I care for you folks so deeply, and I so want you folks to do so well, I have written for you, where's it gone? Where's it gone? Oh no, I've got to find it again.
I think it was called Year 11 Mid-Year
Exam. Good try. No, I know what it is. I know. Huh. How's this? I've written, you've got it here in paper as well. I have written you general notes on essay response. I've made notes for you on all of the failings of the people who precede you so that you do not fall into those same traps.
Please.
Okay, I didn't print it, but it's in Classroom, and I will print it out for you with an updated thing with the cultural frame in it for the essay starters. I don't want to read through this because I have read through so much, and I've seen so many yawns, and I can understand that. This just goes through the common mistakes that are made in this. Don't make them. Read it before you start the essay. Read it during writing of the essay. Read it again when you have finished your essay, and just say, have I, are you okay with this? I'm going to print it for you right now.
Thanks, Dad.
Eight.
Sean, you're a very kind person. Do you mind running down to the